I want to make a really quick video here. Um, I was talking to Karen yesterday, who just joined us in Next Level. She's going to be working with us for a year, and I was catching up with her, and we were talking about protein intake and how she will sometimes struggle looking at her nutrition. She sees that she's low in protein, and if she ever goes over something, she does okay in calories, but she finds that she goes over in carbs on a frequent basis. All right. And I know through the level one curriculum, have a couple videos talking about the importance of protein, but I maybe have never talked about this in this way. As far as planning out your protein for the day can be a game changer. All right. So I know I have a video as far as like front load protein, back load carbs. So I won't talk too much about that. If you want to check that out, that's in the level one curriculum under the nutrition category. What I want to talk about here is I do see this, that so many of you struggle with protein intake. All right. Now keep in mind, me and coaching the coaches, and then my own philosophy, and how we work with clients as well, we always tend to set protein a little bit on the higher side. Nothing crazy. None of you are eating like 2 grams per pound, or even probably a gram a pound, or anything super drastic, but it is usually in that zero point 0.7, 0.8, maybe 0.9 grams per pound of body weight. All right. And what I've found with people is, unless you have a plan, this can go for anything in life, right? But let's talk about protein and keep me on the right path. Unless you have a plan and you're conscious with your protein intake, I will bet 9 out of 10 days you'll come in low. All right. One thing that can be a huge game changer is, if you want to make nutrition, if you're trying to find a sustainable approach to it, just plan out, like, obviously if you can plan out all your meals and you have those weeks where you can, great. But at a bare minimum, plan out your protein for the day and how you're going to hit that target. I don't want you to implement exactly what I do, but that's pretty much what I do in my head when it comes to nutrition on a daily basis. All I think about is how much protein I'm getting in per day. And if you do that, what tends to happen is, like we've talked a lot about, is protein's going to help keep you full. It's going to eliminate some of those cravings, versus if you have a lot of carbs earlier in the day, like you have cereal with a lot of sugar, you're good for a couple hours and you crash and you need more, and it throws your energy and hunger and appetite on a roller coaster, right? Protein's going to help keep your appetite and those cravings and your hunger at bay. Working with a lot of you who've increased protein, you're like, I don't even crave sweets. I have to like force myself to get to 15, 16, 1700 calories because I'm simply not hungry, which is awesome, right? Okay. So what I mean by this is, for example, say your protein target is 100 grams. Like, that's what your coach has assigned to you. Your protein target is 100 grams per day. What I would kind of do is, when you're looking at your week and looking at your days, plan out ahead of time of how you're going to get 100 grams of protein in and get that completely off your plate. All right. And as I was talking to her, I was like, are you having very many shakes? And she's like, once in a while, maybe a few times a week. And I was like, I've been having one shake per day for over a decade. I think it's silly and a lot of you come from like, other, fad things in the past where they have you slugging 3 or 4 shakes a day, which I think is absurd. But I do believe one protein shake per day is something that you can implement long term. And it's a quick, easy way and convenient way to get protein intake in, or get your protein intake up. So I was talking to her, I was like, okay, so if you get a big tub of protein, it's got 25, 30 grams per scoop. You have like 2 scoops, maybe post workout in the morning. That right there is 50, 60 grams. So think about that. With just one shake per day, like if your target's 100, you're over halfway there before 8, 9 o'clock, depending on when you have that shake, right? And I was talking to her, and like maybe at 10, 30, 11, you have like a protein bar. It has 20 grams of protein. You have lunch, and then you have, say, some Greek yogurt. I've shown those before. I like those Oikos. I think that's how you pronounce the name. They have like 20 grams of protein. There's only like 110 calories in there. Super clean Greek yogurt, if you like something like that. Those have 20 to 25 grams of protein in. So like, for example, let's just plan out a protein shake, one protein bar, and a little thing of Greek yogurt at like 2 or 3 o'clock, kind of in that, afternoon, mid-afternoon, when you're, got a couple hours left at work. Just think about that right there. You have 50-gram protein shake. you have 20-gram protein bar, you're at 70, and then you have a 20-gram protein thing of Greek yogurt. That right there puts you at 90 grams for the day. For so many of you, that's 70, 80, maybe even 90% for some of you who are a little bit on the smaller side of your daily protein target right there. And I would say having those three things, like you go to Costco, get a 2 dozen box of like protein bars that you like. I told her I go to this grocery store is called Hy-Vee, and they have the Greek yogurt there. I basically like grab them all like they're going out of style, and we'll buy like 12, 16 at a pop. They're like 89 cents a piece. Sometimes they're even cheaper. That's like 4 for $3 or something, because you can get pretty good deals. So I think having those things, like one protein shake, you go get a big tub of protein, $50 should last you a couple months, depending on how many scoops you're having. You have one protein bar per day, and you have a thing of Greek yogurt. I think you could have that pretty much every day. And then you can come in and kind of fill in the gaps. But how nice is it like, okay, I'm going to have these three things as my staples for protein each day. That puts me at 70, 80, 90 grams. And for so many of you, that's 80, 90% of your protein intake, and you're pretty much good. So by accident, whatever you have for lunch, if you have like a chicken salad, Caesar salad, whatever, then whatever you have for dinner, obviously make sure you have some type of protein source for every meal. Ideally, like you'll hit your protein target by accident, but you do so because you're intentional and plan out your protein sources throughout the day, if that makes sense. So I got to jump off for a call, but I just want to get that in front of you, and hopefully this makes sense. Any questions, let me know. But like, plan out your protein for the day and your week, and it could be a game changer for you. And I also, the final thing I will say, I lied. I do have to run, but I told her, I'm like, if you get your protein intake up, the thing with that is your carbs will probably come down. So I'm like, if you get your protein intake up, there's like a negative correlation. So if your protein intake comes up, your carbs will probably go down, because like I said at the very beginning, it eliminates some of those cravings and things as such as well. So hopefully that's helpful. We'll see you in the next one.